Hello Superset Maniacs and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to another Big Ramy at the 2021 Mr. Olympia comparison, and this time we're doing something a little bit different. We're gonna compare him to Dorian Yates, not a competition version of his, but his notorious 1993 6 weeks out photoshoot version. The level of conditioning Dorian Yates was bringing on the day of the show was on a level that maybe only Harry Chupin or Nick Walker can achieve today. Some people and Dorian himself even claiming that most of the bodybuilders today look on stage as he looked 6 weeks out of a show. Big Ramy at the 2021 Olympia was a bit off, at least compared to his 2020 Olympia version, so let's see if 6 weeks out Dorian Yates can compete with this on-stage version of Big Ramy in terms of conditioning, but also in terms of mass. Dorian was the original mass monster, and especially in this photo shoot, he really looks like he could go against any modern-day bodybuilder. Before we begin, I know this is a photo shoot for Dorian. Usually people look better in photo shoots. Everything is set up in such a way that brings the best out of a physique. However, considering how much the technology has evolved since 1993, we have HD cameras and stuff today, I believe this is a fair trade. Front double biceps, and it's incredible how strong Dorian Yates looks against the biggest Mr. Olympia in history. To put this into perspective for you guys, this was 1993 for Dorian, only 2 years after Lee Haney retired, a Lee Haney that wouldn't necessarily beat Chris Bumstead from the classic physique division nowadays. Back to the pose, upper body Dorian looks more imposing, he looks fuller, and not necessarily because Ramy is drier. I don't believe that. Not at all. If we look at the details Dorian presents through his forearms or his obliques compared to Ramy, I believe there's a case for Dorian to win the conditioning in this comparison. Anyway, in spite of all that, Ramy wins the limbs against Dorian here. His biceps, which should be a focal point in this pose, are pickier and better separated, and downstairs at the quad department is a no contest for Big Ramy. Dorian Yates obviously wins the calves, but overall Big Ramy has the upper hand in this pose. Front lat spread, and while the arms become less of a focal point and the lats come into play, Dorian Yates becomes the clear favorite in this pose. And have in mind that Ramy himself has one of the most impressive lat spread poses in history, however, he goes against the very best ever in this pose, Dorian himself. Dorian's chest looks fuller than Ramy's here, which is also crazy, and the dryness he shows through his quads reconfirms the fact that he's probably drier 6 weeks out from a show than Ramy at the 2021 Olympia. Insane, I know. Side chest, and who would have thought that Dorian would go head to head with Big Ramy when it comes to the chest development? It's true, Ramy's pecs are larger, but Dorian's pop up so much better here. However, Ramy dominates too much through the delts and wheels to not win this pose against Dorian Yates here. Back double biceps, and Big Ramy is hopeless in this pose against Dorian Yates. In spite of his incredible width, Ramy's back is too incomplete to go against arguably the best back in history. Just look how low Dorian's lats insert and how much thickness they present in the area. Not to mention Dorian's traps, nobody would top that. His delts look decent as well, and the lower body, even though back then they didn't flex their glutes too much, Dorian still has striations on there. His incredible conditioning 6 weeks out from the 1993 Olympia is also visible in the details he presents on his calves. The rear lat spread is even more dominant from Dorian Yates, even though Ramy looks better in this other back pose too. Dorian is even wider than Big Ramy, and on top of that he presents some crazy details and thickness as well. Dorian wins the traps, the lats, the lower lat thickness, everything upper body basically. Lower body Ramy may have the strongest glute ham department, but Dorian dominates with calves. Overall, taking into consideration the upper body domination from Dorian, This becomes another win for the shadow in this comparison. Side triceps, and aside from the crazy side leg of Big Ramy, Dorian Yates wins everything else in this pose. Triceps check, midsection check, calves check, execution check. Even his side leg looks more than decent, especially for that period. This is yet again a dominant win for Dorian Yates in this comparison. Abs and thighs, and first of all, this is not a shot from the same photo shoot for Dorian, as unfortunately he didn't hit this pose then. We have this one instead, which looks pretty similar to what he would have probably looked like. In spite of his incredible upper body, I don't think he would beat Ramy in this pose. Ramy as well looks pretty strong upper body, having a great taper and decent abs, but the lower body alone wins him this pose in my opinion, as after all this pose is called abs and thighs. The most muscular is another pose that will go to Big Ramy. This was Dorian's arguably weakest pose, and to be 100% fair, this wasn't even a mandatory pose during his period. But we cannot ignore the pose in such comparisons, as some of the die-hard Dorianites would wish. Big Ramy dominates through the arms, shoulders and lower body enough to secure this pose in my opinion. In conclusion, Dorian has won the front lat spread, both back poses, the back double and the lat spread, and the side triceps. Ramy's got the front double, the side chest, the abs and thighs, and the most muscular. Each one of them won 4 poses, but we all should know that this is not how things really work in bodybuilding, considering how dominant Dorian Yates won his poses, and also that he really looks to be at least as conditioned 6 weeks out from a show as Big Ramy here, really makes me give Dorian the win in this comparison. What do you guys think about this comparison? Let me know down in the comment section. Also like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos like this, and as always, thank you guys and see you next time.